I scanned a parking meter, paid, walked away feeling efficient, and still came back to a ticket. Then my phone buzzed with a fraud alert. Two systems had reached conclusions about me, and neither was flattering. At the time, I didn't know the word quishing. Last week, I still couldn't have defined it without help. Meanwhile, my grandson moves through apps like Air, scanning, tapping, approving things I didn't even see. That contrast is part of the moment we're in now, and it explains why this catches so many people off guard. That's the setup now. We used to feed quarters into meters. You could hear the mechanism turn. You could feel when time was added. The transaction was physical and loud, which made it hard to miss when something worked or didn't. Today, the transaction is silent and visual, happening in about 3 seconds if you're not careful. The street looks the same. The pole looks the same. The only thing that changed is the little square asking for your camera instead of your pocket change. QR codes didn't arrive as villains. They showed up as convenience. No typing, no waiting, just scan and go. Restaurants, parking systems, and ticketing platforms leaned into that promise, and most of the time it works exactly as advertised. That reliability is why the problem took so long to notice. The scam itself is simple. Someone prints a fake QR code and sticks it over the real one on meters, kiosks, light poles, or temporary street signs. The sticker doesn't scream danger. It looks official enough. You scan it, and your phone opens a page that looks like a parking site you've heard of. Familiar colors, familiar language. You enter your card and walk away confident. Except the city never got paid. The scammers did, and now they have your card information. What makes this effective isn't technical brilliance. It's timing. You're standing on a sidewalk, thinking about being late, with cars honking nearby. The meter is blinking. The QR code offers to end the moment quickly. That's all it has to do. I didn't grow up scanning things to pay for curb space. Neither did you. The adjustment isn't about intelligence, it's about muscle memory. You're doing a new motion in an old setting, and your brain fills in the rest. When my fraud alert came through, it felt disproportionate. All I'd done was park, but that's the mismatch of the modern street. Low-stakes action, high-stakes data. A few taps can expose a lot. So the real question isn't whether QR codes are bad. They're not. The question is how to tell when one is legitimate or just pretending to be. That's where quishing lies. Quiet phishing delivered through a square you're trained to trust. In the next few minutes, we'll break this down without drama, 5 red flags and 3 safer ways to pay, because the goal isn't avoiding technology, it's avoiding the wrong sticker. So let's slow this down and translate what's actually happening on the sidewalk without panic and without pretending it's complicated. Quishing is just phishing that moved onto a sticker. Someone prints a QR code, slaps it over a real one, and counts on the moment doing the rest. You scan, your phone opens a page that looks familiar, and the transaction feels finished before your instincts have time to catch up. The reason this works isn't clever code, it's placement. Parking meters, kiosks, and light poles already carry authority in your mind. You're conditioned to comply there. You don't question a meter, you solve it. So when a QR code appears in that space, your brain files it under routine, not risky, just another step in a familiar process that feels official enough to trust. The first red flag is physical. Take half a second and look at the sticker itself. Is it crooked, wrinkled, or covering something else? Cities don't apply payment instructions like a bandage. Official labels are straight, sealed, and integrated into the device itself. A sticker slapped on top of another sticker is the digital equivalent of a handwritten sign taped to a stoplight. It might say something reasonable, but the method should make you pause. Physical sloppiness is often the first clue that something digital is off. Second red flag is the web address. When the page opens, glance at the domain, not the logo or colors. Real parking systems use clean, recognizable domains. If the address is a jumble of letters, misspellings, or extra words, that's your cue to stop. You don't need to analyze it or feel clever, you just need to notice it. Third, and this one matters most, is what the page asks for first. Legitimate systems usually ask for a zone number or meter number before payment details. Scam pages often go straight for your card. No context, no confirmation, just a payment form front and center. That's backwards, and backwards is the tell. Real systems confirm where you are before asking how you'll pay. Fourth is urgency. Countdown timers, warnings about tickets, language suggesting you're already late or already in trouble. Real meters don't negotiate or threaten. They don't rush you with flashing messages. Urgency exists to shut down thinking, not help you park. Fifth is the absence of real App Store links. Legitimate systems want you in their app and point clearly to the App Store or Google Play. Scam pages avoid that because they can't survive scrutiny there. Missing links aren't accidental, they're strategic. Now the safe route is shorter than the warning list. Search for the app by name in your phone's App Store. Type it yourself. If a web address is printed directly on the meter, enter it manually or pay at the meter using coins, cards, or buttons. This isn't about being suspicious of everything. It's about recognizing the street didn't get smarter, the scams did. A 5-second check is enough. Straight sticker, clean domain, reasonable flow, no panic. That's not paranoia. It's basic judgment applied to a square of ink. By the time you understand how the sticker scam works, there's a quieter realization underneath it. The street didn't suddenly become hostile. The tools just changed faster than our habits. We're still bringing old instincts to new surfaces, and occasionally that gap gets exploited. That's not a personal failure, it's a timing issue. Most of the discomfort around things like quishing isn't about money, it's about confidence. There's a brief moment on the sidewalk where you feel rushed, slightly watched, and mildly out of date all at once. Cars are moving, someone's waiting. The meter is blinking. The QR code promises to make the moment go away. That pressure point isn't ignorance or carelessness, it's speed. The faster the moment moves, the more appealing the shortcut looks. That's the lever being pulled. You're not being tricked because you're naive. You're being nudged because the situation is designed to compress your judgment into seconds. We've seen this pattern before. Dial-up didn't make sense until it did. Pop-ups were annoying until blockers became normal. ATMs introduced fees mid-transaction, and people learned where to look before pressing yes. None of those shifts required fear. They required recognition, then adjustment, then routine. Once you understood the move being made, you could decide how to respond. That's what's happening here. Not avoiding QR codes entirely, not declaring the street unsafe. Just noticing when something doesn't match the setting you're standing in, and letting that mismatch slow your hand for a beat. A crooked sticker where a city label should be, a web address that looks assembled quickly, a payment screen that skips steps and goes straight for your card. Those aren't puzzles or tech mysteries, they're tells, you don't solve them. You notice them and move on without debate. What's useful about the 5-second check is that it doesn't slow you down. It actually speeds you up over time. You stop negotiating with every meter. You either see what you need to see or you don't, and that decision becomes automatic instead of stressful. If it passes, you proceed. If it doesn't, you move to the safe route without commentary. No drama, no speeches, just another small choice made cleanly. That's how habits form. Not through vigilance, but through repetition that removes friction instead of adding it. There's a subtle shift in how you carry yourself once this becomes routine. You're no longer reacting to the interface. You're using it. The street stops feeling like something that's happening to you and goes back to being a place you move through with intention. That sense of control matters more than the money. It restores something that gets chipped away quietly when systems change without explanation. You feel less hurried, less second-guessed, more grounded in the moment you're actually standing in, instead of the one being rushed past you. It's worth saying this plainly. Being careful here doesn't make you suspicious. It makes you current. The scams evolved. The countermoves evolved with them. This is just another layer of everyday literacy, like knowing which emails to ignore or which buttons not to trust. Old dogs don't chase trends. We walk beside them, take what's useful, and leave the rest on the pole. You're still learning, still laughing when something ridiculous shows up, still very much in it. See you in the next move.